Today, the media claims that Europeans are sterile, aging and tired, that Europeans are peace-loving, that Europeans are shy, weak and always willing to step aside, that Europeans are too tired to build anything anymore, too lazy to produce anything anymore, that Europeans have lost their lust for life. We will show them. Let the whole world know that Europeans refuse to die. Let it be clear to everyone on this planet that Europeans will not apologize and will not retreat anymore. We will go further than ever before. We conquer the future for us and we will not share it with anyone. What Europe needs, she takes. For us Europeans, defeat is not an option. We have created the greatest civilization on earth. We have always crushed our enemies. We have explored this planet, reached the moon, split the atom, and accumulated scientific knowledge far more than all the other races together. Even today, at the moment of our weakness, we are still admired and envied by the entire world. Our enemies, the vile alien masses, herding in our streets, attacking, extorting, robbing our people, abusing our hospitality, laying claim on our soil, have not yet even grasped what absolute and total violence in massive scale means. They seem to think that they can intimidate us into submission by using terrorism and petty gang violence. But they forget that once us Europeans turn violent, we wipe out races, we destroy entire civilizations, we desolate continents, and we start world wars. Europeans are masters of violence. The nature has endowed us with courage, patience, resilience, and a systematic mind. We will use these gifts to the fullest in the coming years. We will declare a total and radical war of destruction on those who wish us harm, and we will not stop until we have destroyed them completely. Those who thought that Europe would fall will soon be greatly disappointed, and those who conspired to harm Europe and Europeans will soon fear for their lives. There is no place on this earth where they can hide from us. We will hunt them down, and we will make them pay. The liberals keep warning people about us and our plans. The liberals are like old babbling women who tell horror stories of what will happen if nationalists take over one day. And of course the liberals are right. Once we are unleashed, we will open the gates of hell and summon the furor europaeicus. There is nothing more frightening in this world than the bloodlust of a nation that has suffered injustice. We accept that there is struggle in nature, and that all biological as well as cultural evolution is based on this constant struggle. We maintain that the highest form of social and cultural struggle is the struggle between entire civilizations. The age of competing nations is over, as nations are now regrouping and gathering under the banners of civilizations. Civilizations are superorganisms. They compete over living space and resources, and only the strongest will prevail. We maintain that the European civilization is superior to all other civilizations, and that all her needs must be met first. In order to protect her interests globally, we will call a global mobilization of the European people. For us, there is only one law, the highest law, our survival, and whatever course of action we may choose in the future, its sole purpose is the implementation of this law. The coming war is not going to be a moral problem. The coming war will be a mere technical problem. And once we have solved the technical problem, we will be able to wage a war of absolute destruction in all corners of the earth as we see fit. We can take the initiative wherever, whenever, and against whomever we want, and stay on the offensive until the enemy is exterminated. For us, war is the logical culmination of evolution. For us, politics is secondary to war. For us, politics is just a prelude to war. All the great questions of our time can and will be solved through war. The world is facing cataclysmic changes as the tectonic plates of races and civilizations are colliding. Overpopulation is making the world too small for us all. The endless minor conflicts that have burned across the planet for decades will grow into gigantic genocidal wars over living space and life-sustaining resources, water, food, breathable air and energy. Societies will fall, chaos will reign, and civilization will collapse, leaving most parts of the planet into savagery. Europe will face these challenges of the future by systematically waging wars with radical environmental, ecological and ethnic goals. We will check the avalanche of hostile overgrowing populations. We will decimate the predatory migrations against Europe. All threats against Europe will be eradicated. We will strike overpopulation right at its source. What starts in the streets of Europe with fists, knives and broken bottles will end in gigantic clashes in faraway battlefields. Our front line stretches from the Strait of Gibraltar to Vladivostok and from Rio Grande to the shores of Australia. In these wars of tomorrow, there will be no Finns or Russians, Swedes or Spaniards, Italians or Irish anymore, because such concepts have simply ceased to exist. The warriors of the future are simply Europeans, united in common struggle, sharing the baptism of fire and the communion of power. In the crucible of these cataclysmic wars, an entirely new race is born. Through pain and struggle, the new European man will reclaim his throne. Sacrificing himself at the altar of his race, the new European man will be bestowed upon unforeseen powers. We will wage the coming wars with religious devotion. Europe's future armies will be the new holy order in a modern battlefield. For them, the destruction of Europe's enemies is a sacred ritual. Our fanaticism and uncompromising radicalism will be a rude awakening for those who thought we would happily accept defeat. In order to secure Europe's place in the world and to restore her power and prestige, we must resort to total mobilization of Europe's productive forces. Europe must stand on its own again. Europe must be self-sufficient. All ties of dependency to foreign production must be cut. Europe must be able to produce everything her people, economy and armed forces need. Our grand strategy must be made absolutely clear to absolutely everybody right from the start. We will re-industrialize Europe, we will remilitarize Europe, and we will revitalize Europe. This gigantic undertaking will restore the pride and self-esteem of the European working class and a future for those millions of Europeans whose lives have been shattered by the blind forces of global capitalism. This unprecedented collective effort in European history will guarantee that no European will ever again be without a proper job with a proper wage, that no European will ever again go hungry, and that there will always be a decent home for each and every European. Once again, everyone is important, as all hands are needed in the reconstruction of Europe. We will snatch Europe from the jaws of death and make her the queen of continents again. All this and much more we will do so that Europe would live forever. In the years to come, our movement will evoke ancient forces, restore long-lost traditions, find what once was lost and mend what once was broken. Stories will be told and songs will be sung, telling the deeds of the heroes who fought today for the survival of Europe. And finally, when all is done, and the heroes have receded into the twilight of gods, we can safely say that the prehistory of our race is over, and the future just about to begin.